Chapter 2, Intern on the Loose. Robert Sandler didn't believe in interns. He barely believed in meetings that weren't emails, or salads that weren't sandwiches, or office wellness initiatives that involved group meditations next to the copier. He definitely didn't believe in bringing 20-something recent college grads into the firm under the guise of invigorating the culture. But there she was, Mary Fontaine, intern Mary. Fresh from college, full of energy and enthusiasm that bordered on caffeinated, Mary had all the signs of being more work than help. She was supposed to be filing case summaries and observing meetings. Instead, she was sitting in on client sessions she hadn't been invited to and asking Rob questions like, "Do you think emotional intelligence or instinct is more critical for leadership?" He had answered her with a dry, "The ability to delegate," and hoped that would be the end of it, but it wasn't. She began orbiting his office, bringing him espresso, emailing him Harvard Business Review articles he might enjoy, always with a guileless, insistent curiosity that made it seem like she was trying to get into grad school or maybe something else entirely. Meanwhile, he was the devoted husband to Rhonda, and she was equally the devoting wife, even though things had been slipping lately. They shared a house, a mortgage, a dentist, and too much silence. In the beginning, they had had plenty of romantic nights and days, weekend getaways, French toast on Sundays, long, slow kisses in the hallways that made them late for work. But these days, they passed more like friends than lovers. Cordial, polite, and increasingly out of sync. That morning, she had packed his lunch the way she always did. Turkey on wheat, a banana, and a note tucked just beneath a napkin. Except this time, the note only said, "Don't forget the meeting at 3. No heart, no smiley face, no "love you." He hadn't even realized how much he missed those until they disappeared. "Mr. Sandler," came a voice at the door. Intern Mary. Legal pad in one hand, her phone in the other, as though ready to take both notes and a live stream, a TED Talk. "I was wondering if you had time for lunch. I've been studying emotional fatigue and relational misalignment in high-performing environments. That sounds made up." "It's not," she said with a smile that was just a little too polished. "I think I could offer some insight, or at least good company. My treat. I'm married," he blurted, not looking up from his monitor. She didn't flinch. "So am I. To my work." He exhaled. "You can stop trying so hard." "Trying?" She tilted her head. No, I'm just observant. And you've seemed off lately." "I'm fine." "You're not. You're tired, distracted. And I say this with complete professional respect. You look like someone who hasn't had a real conversation in weeks." He narrowed his eyes. "Is this part of your internship?" She leaned a little closer. "Let's just call it field study." Well, they ended up at a trendy sandwich place Clay always called the Kale Trap. Rob ordered the fattiest club they had. Mary picked at a grain bowl like it personally offended her. "You know," she said, "sometimes people stay in relationships out of habit or fear, not because they're happy." Rob blinked. "You're 24. What do you know about unhappy marriages?" "I watched my parents pretend for 15 years. I know a lot more than you think." He shifted in his seat. "This is inappropriate." "Well, so is wasting your potential," she replied smoothly. After lunch, back at the office, Rob was intercepted by Clay, who was juggling a smoothie, a headset, and what looked like a yo-yo. "Hey, how was your date with the intern?" "Lunch. It was lunch, and it was not a date." "Okay," Clay said, raising an eyebrow. "But she was just twirling her hair and looking at you like you were a limited edition of final of Abbey Road. I'm just saying, don't play dumb. I'm not playing anything, Rob said. I barely said 10 words. Exactly. You just sat there being mysterious and tortured. It's like candy to people her age. Well, that night, Rob sat on the edge of the bed while Rhonda folded laundry. Mostly her jeans and assortment of t-shirts she wore to work in the garden. She asked if he had remembered to call the plumber. He had not. She sighed, but didn't argue. Later, in the dark, she reached for the lamp, and the small warmth of her hand brushed against his arm. For a second, he thought she was reaching for him. She wasn't. He stared at the ceiling long after she fell asleep, thinking about kale, kissless mornings, and the 1,000 tiny ways love could get replaced by routine. And outside their bedroom, a sticky note with the words, "Don't forget to smile," still clung to the fridge, curling at the corners. Well, what did you think of chapter 2? Is Mary being absolutely too aggressive? And is Rob being just completely naive? Is he getting in over his head? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Bye.